Hey everyone, welcome back. Pleasure to have you here. If you're struggling with farming, or feel like you're going 10-0 but still have the same goal as the guy who's 5-0, you may be struggling with wave mismanagement. Heck, wave management could jump you from where you are now to the next rank. That's just how powerful it is. In this video, just like the ones before it, are here to help you understand why minions are your best friend in the Rift. This will probably be the last in-depth wave management video I have before I move on to more detailed decision making. And just to recap for those who haven't seen the earlier videos, I am breaking down the topic of wave management. I had a much earlier video about it, which you can see here that is very basic and it helps you get your feet off the ground. Then I decided to provide more context just because of how complex wave management actually is. The first video of the revamp series talks about the basics again with this beautiful chart behind me that is explained. Check this out by clicking the link above. I made the chart myself and I'm very proud of it. And it's the key to understanding smart decisions during the laning phase. The next video I made was in the Baron lane, like almost all of my videos are, against Jinxed, so melee versus ranged, which you can see by clicking this link above. Many people struggle against ranged picks like Jinx, Lucian, or Vayne, so it's nice to have some context. Then lastly, I made a video that was melee against melee. It was up against Warwick, in which we did a pseudo freeze that prevented him from growing the same pace I was. Check that video out here. And if you have been enjoying the content so far, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel because it helps satisfy my ego. Thanks a lot. Anyway, this matchup is up against Renekton, who is one of the harder enemies to play against as Tryndamere. He has this fancy combo that is dash in, stun, hit 50,000 times, and then dash out and leave unscathed. He can also farm very well since he has no mana and has a very nice heal with his first ability. This video will be primarily focused on freezing the wave, not pseudo freeze, just a regular freeze. And disclaimer before the game starts. I am extremely ahead in this match, just like the rest of my team is, but I don't roam or help my team because this series is made to help you farm better in your lane. We're not yet at the point where I want to talk about macro or big brain moves because then it gets too confusing. Once we get the hang of managing our own waves and managing our own money, then we can talk about how to rotate and how to position our wave to rotate and all that fun stuff. And I know this feels like baby steps and there's a reason for that. Many people watch videos and are expected to understand everything, and that's why this series exists. I've made 3 videos now, and this will be the 4th that talks about wave management. Now I feel like there's enough context for you to talk about the next step, which is how to help your team solidify the lead. The second reason is due to me playing Tryndamere, who isn't really team-oriented and is kind of useless in team fights unless he has his ultimate, compared to other Baron laners like Pantheon or Garen that provide CC or tankiness for their team. I'm just a turret taker. We can see here he goes really early on and he engages with a stun. And just as an FYI for those who play Renekton, you always want to engage with at least half of your rage bar full due to the enhanced effects, and this is beneficial for me because now I know what he took, which is his stun. I begin to farm to get my rage bar full, and I can farm pretty calmly due to the fact that I know he took stun and has to get pretty close to hit me with it. That was a really early ignite, and so I back away and let the minions crash into the turret. Our hope here is that when the minions crash into the turret, Renekton clears it fast enough so when the next wave comes, it remains in a neutral position. Success in our mission, and our wave remains in the center. I begin to push aggressively, while Renekton grabs his honey fruit. The way I'm forcing this push is by hitting the caster minions once, then focusing on the melee minions. Once the melee minions can die with a spin, I spin it into the casters as well, and take them out with another auto attack. Almost perfect, but Renekton stunned me. That stun is so annoying, but you gotta play around it now. And yet again, the wave remains neutral. This is a very calm lane so far. Once the wave crashes into the center, I do the same as previous. Try to hard push against Renekton's even harder push. I managed to dodge this dash and stun combo by spinning away, and that was pretty lucky for me. And this is a small freestyle comes to play. Both cannon minions are left alive, but mine has a little less health. If Renekton wants to kill my minion, he needs to extend closer to me to get it, and it is worth a lot of gold. Let's see what he does. Nope, he dashes in, uses his first ability, but he misses the cannon minion. Now that he's at disadvantage, I engage and try to force him out of lane. I use exhaust to cut off his damage, and I don't heal until the last moment to capitalize on Tryndamere's passive. Ignite and heal to take care of him. I was going to recall, but then I see Kayn is here, and I have 2 options. One is to get close to the red minions and let them die to get level 5, and 2 is to spin towards the river near Nunu. I realize the minion wave is too far and a much riskier option, so I pray that Nunu comes and saves me. Thanks to this amazing jungler, I am safe, although I think I would have survived regardless. First blood and a nice gold lead. A little message of appreciation, and then back to lane. Getting back to lane, we can see that Renekton is still level 4, and he is hard pushed into my side of the lane. Unfortunately for him, I will not be hard pushing back, and instead kicking back and farming when needed, which means only last hitting minions. Must seem boring as heck, but this is the freeze. And you can see that instead of walking away from the minions when the cannon minion dies, I take the damage and I hide in the bush when my minions get there to cause a collision where I want it to be, not near the turret. You can see that I'm only attacking the minions when it has that white bar, indicating I can last hit it with an auto attack. Renekton tried breaking the freeze, valiant effort for sure, but it's not going to pay off. When the minions die, I'm going to go back and forth between the minions and the bush to keep them in this position until my minions crash. However, you will see that I accidentally let one of the caster minions go, and it will take damage from the turret. Once the waves crash, Renekton tries to do the same and tries to break this freeze, and manages to get one more minion into turret range. I'm doing a really bad job at actually last hitting, but the freeze itself has been maintained pretty nicely. The wave has been on my side of the lane for a very long time. This is beneficial if you want to set up a gank for your jungler or mid that's roaming. This type of wave forces the enemy to overextend into your territory. And again, the red minions are just a little bit stronger than the blue minions, successfully causing another wave to freeze. Once the wave crashes, Renekton does his best to break the freeze, and he successfully does manage to break it. You can see that this wave is an A wave, which has 2 caster minions, and the caster minions alone are not tanky enough to take the shots of the melee minions, so this freeze will now become a slow push. And that is the natural progression of the freeze. You can either let this wave crash into your turret and set up a neutral wave, or set up a slow push and crash into your enemy's turret. And here I'm hoping to take Renekton out when he mistakes his dash into me, but you can see the stun that lasts 50 years almost takes me out completely. I had to use my ultimate, use his flash, and this ended up not paying out for me. The misplay here is going to force me to recall, even though I didn't really want to, but it is what it is. I have a 1,000 gold lead by the time I get back home, or back to base, but you can see that Renekton pushes just so fast that he crashes into the turret and takes 2 plates. Oh my goodness. Since I have an item advantage on Renekton, he has to decide if he wants to stay to brawl and maybe lose the battle, or recall and let me have some plates. It seems like he's walking away and leaving the lane, so we're going to force push this into his turret, and if he did leave, we're going to take his honey fruit and hopefully at least 1 plate. He showed up for a split second, I'm not sure if you saw it, and he had that little blue ring, so I know that he recalled. But that means the honey fruit is mine like I thought, and this turret is also mine. I ping that the enemy is missing just in case you're going to go for dragon. He might go and assist him with dragon, which means he's going to let this lane go to me. He comes back to lane extremely fast, spins onto me, I auto attack him once and spin away, take a turret shot, but we are in a nice little 1,200 gold lead now. Honestly, at this point, with the lead this size, you can force the wave to crash into his turret and rotate to help your team with dragon. You'll see that I don't do that, but I do crash it into his turret and I start Rift Herald. My team has a massive lead right now, so I don't think they need any help with dragon. I start with Rift Herald and I'm priming this for Nunu. I'm not going to take it myself, and since Nunu took care of dragon, he is rotating his way towards Rift Herald. My job once Nunu gets here is to zone Renekton away from Rift Herald. And you can see once we get back to lane, he left the lane at a neutral state, so I lost the minimum amount of gold here. There was really no right answer for Renekton there, but I would have stayed in the lane and tried to farm at least. And we got both objectives, hooray for us. Since this is a cannon wave, or a C wave, I want to crash it into his turret and recall safely so I can buy some items. It looks like Renekton here made a mistake by spinning into me, so I take full advantage of this. Even though he uses his ultimate, I ignite him, and we take care of him. So instead of recalling now, I will just go ahead and push this into his turret and take some plates. I do have ultimate, so if Kayn does decide to, hang out with me again, I'm pretty sure I can escape him even easier now. And here is at least one big brain tip. I hit the turret low enough to where the minions can take care of it without me, and I proceed to take care of the next wave. I know Renekton doesn't have his ultimate, so if he wants to fight me, he will just lose again. And since this minion wave is free for me to take, this is just free gold. And you'll see that instead of me engaging Renekton, I just walk away from him. There is really no need to engage him, especially with how many people are missing from the map. You can see that I am 2.2k gold ahead of Renekton, and in my team only Ezreal, who has 4 kills, is ahead of my gold. And then again, my farming this match has been horrendous. Renekton left the wave back at the neutral position, which was very nice of him to do for me. Instead of fast pushing this, I slow push this. I want to accumulate a bunch of minions. So if I choose to leave this lane, the enemy will need to stop the large wave of blue minions from crashing into the turret. I see that Renekton is just up ahead, and then again, there is no urgency to fight him. I'd rather focus on accumulating my minions over fighting him. I also need to be mindful that Kayn is missing and he can be close to our lane. The best way to do this is by letting Renekton engage, and if he makes a mistake, take advantage of it and take him out. The second that Renekton dashes in, I engage and go all in. This was the mistake I was looking for, and his dang stun. Kayn is here. I focus completely on Renekton, and I make quick work of him. I see Nunu on his way, so I bait Kayn to stay in lane. I use exhaust so Nunu can take a good hit with his snowball. Once Kayn ults me, I spin away from his safe side. Nunu also walks here, and he flashes right past Nunu. Pyke is here, Veigar is here, Veigar puts his stun, I have to walk all the way around here. I would probably walk away at this point, but here everyone is trying to fight for some reason. It really isn't worth it at this point. Veigar flash, oh, we got Kayn, which was, cool, but really pointless. This was, a waste of time, but whatever. Before I recall, I take care of the minions, and I also take care of Kayn's jungle, Krugs, because they're free money, and I love free money. Renekton is already back in lane, and instead of engaging him, I recall and buy some more items. And you'll see that the gold lead is now 3.3k against Renekton. Returning to Baron lane, I am giving the enemy team a decision. Will they send someone to stop me, or are they going to choose to do a 4v5 fight and hopefully catch one of my teammates slipping? However, the offset of that is me taking these turrets for free with no one stopping me, and I take turrets pretty quickly even without demolish. And it looks like the fight has begun in the middle lane, and I'm not really too concerned about that because, again, my team has a massive lead. Veigar took care of Pyke, so now it is a 5 versus 3. Vex takes care of Kayn, so now it is a 4 versus 3. And I am just going to go rotate towards Rift Herald. Ezreal takes care of Veigar. Rift Herald is spawned, so I'm going to take care of Rift Herald just in case I need to take care of turrets. Double kill and triple kill for Ezreal. And before I take care of the Rift Herald, it is good game. The enemy team surrenders, and again, I didn't do anything to help my team out this game, but I kept Renekton busy and I also behind in gold. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider liking and subscribing. And you have done it. You have seen all of my videos, and now you have the knowledge of a slow push, a freeze, a fast push, and even a pseudo push. Thanks for joining me for the ride, and I hope to see you again. Bye bye for now.